Hello, everybody. It's November the 7th, and the year is 2022. We are 3 days away from the US elections. My name is Dexter Nathan. I like to upload videos time to time, share my thoughts. But one thing I decided not to make any political commentaries, refrain from saying anything about see, politics is a very sensitive subject, and the ruling establishment tries to promote a narrative, and you say anything uh, not in favor of their narrative, you will be silenced. So I don't want to be silenced. I don't want to be like I've burnt my finger, and I used to write articles in during the first 4 years of Donald Trump reign, and I was gathering momentum because people were adding me left, right, and center, and I had in you on Facebook alone I had the maximum allowed 5,000, and whatever algorithm Facebook uses, they were taking every day like 130, viewers were going down. But while it was happening on the other side, people were adding me, and so it was invigorating and refreshing at the same time. It was a turn on when you see people try to appreciate what you write. But then it worked against me. I was warned, and I ignored the warning. I should have backed off, but then this was very invigorating as far as I'm concerned. So as long as you have readers, you just try to say your piece, right? So anyway, I learned my lesson. Finally I paid heed. By then it was too late. That's my story. I lost my previous Facebook page, which I had like over 5,000 personal pictures of my memorabilia, my life, and everything. All that was gone. So when they banned, I couldn't even get my those pictures. Those are memorabilia. I cannot even get it back. I rather not go that route. Mind my business, not say anything. But my gut instinct, there is something in me uh, spurring me to say something. I don't know what it is. I hope it's not to my detriment, because I mean no harm to anybody. I just say what I see. World has become so. It bothers me to see the how much evil prevails in the world today. It's all about money. You see, world is ruled by money. It's granted, and people who control the flow of money rule the world. It's the mega corporations, and it's the banks, and you name it. And the people who are at the helm of it, they control the world. And in every country, you find these people who are latent. They don't expose themselves to the public eye, and they are media, and media is owned by the higher echelons in the highest order. Let's get back. See, what I want to say is, I something in me consider me a prophet of sorts. I'm just being facetious here, but don't make no mistakes. Donald John Trump is coming back. He is going to be the president. I even have a nagging feeling it might happen even before 2022, because 2 years, and the people who supported. See, there's a distinction between a statesman and a politician. People don't understand. A statesman works for the nation irrespective of party differences. A politician works for his party and wants to fill his personal coffers and the financial coffers of the party. He works for the people the financial establishment that backs him up, elected him to power. People think people are delusional, ignorant, and illiterate. Their perceptions are molded by what the media the narrative promoted by the media. Media has lost credibility. Thank God we have independent media now, YouTube, and then you have crazies in the YouTube too, coming and saying some, you just weed through, and you will get a balanced view. Even in Google, you can get to the. It's like sometimes the real truth you have to. It could be as hard as finding a needle in a haystack, right? But then when you have nothing better to do, you will start reading. Of course, it is a positive addiction. The reading, like they say, reading maketh the perfect man or whatever, right? And you acquire knowledge. But in the present day and age, no, nobody reads. Everybody has a handheld device. They know what to do. The younger generation, they can't even write two sentences properly, right? And they can't. Their English vocabulary is barely minimal to the slang they speak, and they cannot understand, right? And then all they hear is, oh, you got an accent. They don't understand the 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 message conveyed, right? The words are like the vehicle that carries the message, right? And if you don't have a vehicle, you cannot go from point A to point B. I have a tendency to use analogies, but then that's me. There will be an unprecedented victory for the Republicans in US. I don't care whether it's Republicans or independents or Democrats. I'm not I have no skin in the game. I just want to make it abundantly clear. I just began to watch US politics only after Donald Trump got involved in 2015, because there's something about him that you like him or hate him. People who hate him look at his negatives. His negatives are harmless. He is narcissistic. He says, infantile things. He talks like just an everyday guy, a truck driver. But it connects with the people. And he speaks the truth, right? And consider him the Robin Hood of our times. You know the story of Robin Hood in the 16th century in England, Britain. Essentially he's a thief. But who did he rob from? He robbed from the rich and gave it to the poor. What did Donald Trump do? He was from the billionaire club. I think there are, according to Forbes magazine 2016, if I'm not mistaken, there are only like 2,882 or 89 billionaires. Maybe it's slightly more now, but it's less than 3,000. Okay, give or take, let's say, round it up, 3,000 billionaires, they rule the world. People think billionaires rule the world, but there are trillionaires, and people don't even understand how much is a trillion. Even if you spend, it's $1 million every day, it'll take close to 3,000 years to spend a trillion. And there are people who have trillions, not just 1 or 2 trillions, individuals. And what Forbes magazine says is they have a criteria. They don't account for trillionaires because they say there are no individual trillionaires. Yes, there are no individual trillionaires, that's true. But there are dynasties. You have different dynasties ruling the world from behind. Even the Queen of Windsor, the Queen of England now, the King of England, they belong to that club, right? If subject to correction, I don't want to quote numbers without you verify. So my disclaimer is everything I say you can go check it out. And they say subject to correction, 1/6 of the global, the world real estate still belongs to the royal family of England. And then we have Rothschild dynasty, then JP Morgan, Carnegie dynasty, all these, nobody talks. They only talk about Elon Musk. He's always in the news. Mark Zuckerberg, and if you think of India, Ambani, these are the people. They are in the I wouldn't say limelight, but people know them, like people, and you can. And the people who are really pulling the string, it's a puppet show from behind. Nobody knows. And that said, I'm 2 years, your world, see, American economy, US economy is what happens in US affects the rest of the world because it's the biggest economy, right? And that said, when US go has been interfering with so many countries, and not one country prospered with US interference. In 70s we had Richard Nixon, who made the US dollar a reserve currency. He got involved in the Middle East, and all the oil cartels from US, they got involved. The oil business started in 1901 in Iran with the, read it up. I'm not going to give a whole big narrative about it because I want to keep this short. Okay, England, the great so-called Great Britain under British Empire, they say it's about 84 or 85 countries, one third of the world was under them. They got involved in Iran. What happened to the Shah family before that? The democratically elected president, I believe in 1953, I believe, 51 or 53. Check it out. What they did, it's all for oil. For money, from gold we shifted to the black gold, which is oil. A country that controls the oil rules the world. It's the industrial era in the last 100 years. What is happening is to control the wealth. And what did Trump do? He came from the billionaire club. If I'm not mistaken, he's said to be the 139th billionaire. He's not really up there, but he's a billionaire. And he came out, without staying with the billionaire club, he came out, and it's like the Robinhood. He went against the rich, and he was concerned about the US, right? And there are three classes in US, Western countries, and the primary occupation, they are the farmers. Farmers who feed you, me, and everybody around the world. They should be respected. But farmers are kept at bay while, okay, we'll go into the three classification. Primary occupation, secondary occupation. Secondary occupation like skilled artisan like plumbers, electricians, you name it, construction business, all this, they all belong to the secondary occupation. And tertiary occupation, the corporate environment, the people who are reigning the corporate world. But it's a corporate world that's really running the, controlling the life of the primary people who are in the primary occupation and secondary occupation, right? It should be the other way around. And Trump clearly, whether you understand or not, he was for the farmers, right? And the farmers' plight was horrible. They are the ones who feed the world. They should be respected. They should be given. But because the world is ruled by money, the business class was controlling the world. The mega corporations were controlling the world. And drug cartels were controlling the world. The pharmaceutical cartels were controlling the world. And drugs were pouring in from south. And it is said, again check it out, the Second World War, the Chinese opium was behind the war. They promote all kinds of narrative to the deluded, ignorant masses, right? And 80% of the world is not illiterate, ignorant, ill-informed, and utterly idiotic. But they are very opinionated. You cannot talk to these idiotic 80% of the population. It's the collective consciousness of this 80% that determines the course of the world. So how do you how do you mold their perception? You have the media, and whatever narrative promotes these these ignorant masses, they're too lazy. They have no time to sit down and research and read, and they go to work, they have to fend for their families, they come back, you got a remote and you got your handheld device, you just press the remote and listen to the TV. And TV is so full of diabolic lies. See, every story can be conveyed in 10 different ways. It depends on who is telling you the story. So media has a way of presenting the facts distorted. They will tweak the fact, distort the facts, and that's what's coming to you, and a false narrative. So you voted in a mentally impaired, cognitively impaired, a senile old man known as Joe Biden. I don't know who he listens to, who his advisors are, right? Of course, he's a puppet of the financial establishment without them. And without going into details, I even have, without casting aspersions, I will say the elections 2018, the universal voting system and the coronavirus all work conducively for the victory of Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't even have 150 people in a town hall meeting while Donald Trump had like 15 to 25,000 in rally. Something is wrong somewhere. But they recount, I think they counted the votes 3 times and they say, what's wrong? Everything is legit. Yeah, sure. And in every household, they counted votes that came without addresses, and they say families, even they could vote in their dog's name, in their cat's names, in their parrot's name, any number of votes. The legitimacy is highly questionable. It's not an aspersion. It's not questioning and saying anything or trying to promote something without evidence. I'm just saying what I see in the media, and what there is always, you don't look one way, you look both ways. Every story has two sides to it, but some stories have 10 different sides to it. It depends on who is saying it. But like I said at the beginning of this, see, the world is teetering in the brink of a world war. Rich people will get richer with any kind of war. World war, rich will get richer, but the world will be destroyed. You don't want that. You don't want to see that's happening. My humble appeal is, wake up. Realize, forget the narrative promoted in US. Without the formidable adversary on the other side is Russia. America's from 1971, from the time of Nixon, they went into Middle East and bankrupted Russia bit by bit, right? And meaning the Soviet Union completely disintegrated. With the American game is played differently. Now we have a very smart man in Soviet Union who is no man's fool. I'm talking about, I'm not a fan of anybody. And there's a difference between a statesman and a politician. A politician works for his party and the party coffers and his personal coffers. A statesman works for the country, for the people, irrespective of party differences or affiliations. Now, you should be able to determine who is a statesman and who is a politician, right? I sincerely hope, and I just don't hope, I know, that's my, I'm trying to be facetious, that's my prophecy. Donald John Trump is coming back, and true democracy will eventually prevail, but what you see is not democracy right now. That said, the Republican Party, I'm not supporting, I don't give two hoots about any party. I try to look at irrespective of party differences. I have no skin in the game. I'm not even an American, but as an outsider offshore, I'm looking at you, right? Republicans are going to be pleasantly surprised with an unprecedented victory. Make no mistake, John Trump is coming. I have a feeling it may not even be 2024, it might be earlier than you think. Leave it at that, right? And if the world wants to prosper, US and the superpower Russia has to come together in total harmony and affinity, work together and drop these animosity and what the media promotes you. They are putting poison into your heart, right? Everything they want this enmity between US and Russia, right? Work with Russia. When these two superpowers comes together, there'll be peace in the world. World will prosper. Live and let live, right? Not just the rich people to rule. The 80% idiotic population should not suffer. So this is my humble appeal. Thank you for listening to, I could go on for hours, but I don't want to bore you to death. That said, thank you for patiently listening. I hope I didn't say anything anything detrimental to the ruling financial establishment. It's a puppet show. You ought to understand it's a financial establishment in and around the world that rules the world. So, and anything detrimental, you come out openly say it. You will be banned. You will be stifled like a mosquito. I hope I didn't say it, but this is it. Just I'm sharing my view. Take it or leave it. And if you say I'm wrong, I'll say I'm sorry. Right? I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That said, I'll wind up here. Thank you. I wish all the very best to US. I wish all the very best to Russia. I wish all the very best to Ukraine. I wish all the very best to every country, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, whatever countries whatever country you are in. I wish everybody think of humanity. The collective consciousness of humanity rules the world, right? Everything you worship, be it a god, it's collective consciousness of humanity. Be it money, it's the representation of collective consciousness of humanity. Be it the democratic process you call elections, the ballot itself is you're expressing your consciousness. It's like the water droplets in an ocean coming together. The ocean acquires a power of unprecedented power, and when it becomes tsunami, it can destroy lands. So it's like the democracy. It's everyone counts. You're a water droplet. I'm a water droplet. I have a tendency to use analogies. That's my way of conveying my thoughts. So that said, wish everybody all the best. May peace prevail in this world. May harmony prevail in this world. Let us look for the common grounds and not focus on the differences. May unity prevail in diversity. Thank you for listening to me.